Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bosch. The number of clean diesel models in North America will double by 2014. Bosch Clean Diesel. Good, clean, fun. Bridgestone. Your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems. Improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com. And by the 2013 Hyundai Sonata. Learn more at HyundaiSonata.com.
Hi diddly ho, and welcome to another episode of Autoline Daily. It's the 2nd of November 2012. I'm Jim Hall from 2953 Analytics, filling in for John once more. Methinks it's time to look at all the news from around the interwebs. Let's get started, shall we? Car sales were up in the United States last month, but not as strong as they could have been due to Hurricane Sandy shutting down dealerships up and down the East Coast. Ward's Auto reports that October sales were close to 1.1 million units, which is nearly a 7% gain compared to last year. That translates to a SAAR of 14.2 million units, which is well short of the 15 million that Ward's predicted before the hurricane. Porsche had the largest jump percentage-wise last month with a 41.5% gain compared to a year ago. Subaru had a great month, seeing sales climb by 30%. Volkswagen had the third highest rise, and it was followed by BMW. Toyota rounded out the top five with a nearly 16% increase in October. Jaguar Land Rover had the worst month on a percentage basis, seeing sales slip by over 20%. And not surprisingly, it's followed by Volvo and Mitsubishi. But there were a couple of things nobody expected. Hyundai sales declined by 4%, and Nissan was down over 3% last month. There's been a lot of speculation over when Ford's CEO Alan Mulally will retire, but now we know it's still a couple of years away. The company announced that he'll be staying at his current position until at least 2014. Mark Fields, the current president of the Americas, was officially named Chief Operating Officer. I'd like to add that Mark is one of the smartest guys around. So smart, he wisely chose not to anchor the 2009 April Fool's edition of this very show. Now that's wisdom indeed, but I digress. Anyway, Ford also announced a number of other promotions. Joe Hinrichs, the current head of Asia Pacific and Africa, takes over Fields' position as president of the Americas. Steve Odell, who heads Ford of Europe, will add the Middle East and Africa to his duties. And Jim Farley will be in charge of Lincoln's global marketing in addition to global marketing for the Ford brand. These new positions are effective December 1st. And speaking of executive changes, the Wall Street Journal reports that General Motors is expected to name former Continental and Volkswagen executive Carl Thomas Neumann as the next head of Opel. As reported yesterday, GM is in a lot of trouble in Europe. The company says it could lose up to $1.8 billion in the region this year. Hyundai has touted that it leads the industry with 4 models that get 40 miles per gallon on the highway. But now it'll have to retract those claims. Hyundai and Kia admitted yesterday to overstating the fuel economy on window stickers. This impacts about 900,000 vehicles, 2011 through 2013 model years. For customers who bought the vehicles with the misinterpreted readings, the companies will reimburse them for as long as they own the vehicle. Yesterday we reported that Toyota and Infiniti sales continue to drop in China. Now we can add that Honda and Nissan are also on the list. Honda reported an October drop in China of 53.5% from a year ago. And Nissan says deliveries fell 41% last month. Some experts have even stated it's hard to say if they've hit rock bottom yet. And with the way the sentiment is against the Japanese right now in China, it may have a little bit farther to fall. All right, it's time for this week's Autoline poll. And we know some of you will hate us for this, but with the U.S. presidential election just a few days away, it's our last chance to get cars and politics mixed up for, 4 years or so. Here goes. President Obama claims he saved the auto industry. Mitt Romney said Detroit should go bankrupt. Now that you've had 4 years to think about it, who was right? Cast your vote by clicking on the link underneath today's show. We'll reveal the results on Monday's episode. Coming up next, a preview of Autoline this week with the founder of a website that's created some controversy with dealers and automakers over the transaction price of cars.
Why?
Because plants need water to grow.
Because baseball's played in the summer.
Oxygen and hydrogen.
Because I forgot to get a receipt.
Why?
Why not?
Why?
Why don't you go ask your dad?
Do Sonata drivers know something you don't? The Sonata from Hyundai.
TrueCar.com is a website car buyers can go to check out what other car buyers paid for their vehicles. But over the last year, the company has had to reshape its business because dealers and automakers were upset over dropping transaction prices as a result of people using the website. On Autoline this week, John sits down with Scott Painter, the founder and CEO of TrueCar, to talk about how the company is reinventing itself.
And what we've done now, and this is in large response to
the OEMs and some of the large dealer groups that have said, we want to create a buffer between the upfront offer as an advertisement and the experience on TrueCar.
Well, they want to protect their pricing. That's what they really want to do.
Well, I think from an OEM point of view, it's a little bit different than from a dealer point of view. I think from an OEM point of view, they want to protect their brand, and I think that's very rational. I think that they want to prevent steep discounting as an open ad. And so today, if you go to TrueCar, the experience is what did others pay, and you can find out how that looks historically.
But they also want to protect their pricing, because if that transaction price goes down, so does the MSRP. I mean, it's got to go down with it at some point. So that's one of the reasons the automakers were so concerned about where those prices were going.
And there's a lot of there is a lot of evidence that everybody was very upset about that and they're concerned about that. TrueCar became really a poster child for it. We drive 1% of the market at that time, and I think the fact that discounting as a concern is real, that's a real problem for the industry. It's not just a TrueCar issue. I think the idea that dealers are discounting to sell the car, even at a loss, is a bigger problem.
Also joining John for that show is Steve Finley from Ward's Auto Dealer Business and Joe White from the Wall Street Journal. You can watch the show in its entirety right now on our website, Autoline.tv. But that's the end of the
wait a minute. What are you doing in my chair? This is my show. Get out of there.
John, I didn't expect you back. Anyway, I'm Jim Hall from 2953 Analytics. Thanks for watching, and have no fear. I'll see you next Monday.
No. I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
What he said.
Ward's is the industry leader for news, data, and analysis. That's why companies across the globe subscribe to our premium service, maybe even your own. Log in for subscriber access now. Check your company's intranet for details, and rely on wardsauto.com to keep you informed.